Over the past 20 years, I've gotten used to camping out at regular campsites, booking reservations through recreation.gov, and it has worked so far with family outings. But in order for me to get comfortable with dispersed camping and getting off the beaten path, taking different routes, and seeing different sceneries, I knew I had to prepare myself for the unknown and to be able to be self sustaining for a longer period of time. I still do the occasional yearly camping trip with family and friends. However, when I go out with the selected few, we like to go on rugged roads and overland to places we would otherwise not be able to with a regular setup. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 overlanding gears, in my opinion, that has helped me advance to the next level in terms of getting to places where I want to visit that are very remote and being able to sustain myself while out and about. But at the same time, having the peace of mind that I'll be able to get home safely. First on the list is a fridge. Now, space is scarce in the Forerunner, and having a large ice chest takes up way too much precious room. So, in order to shrink down the size of the ice chest, I decided to go with a fridge. This means I'm able to not have to carry extra bags of ice just to keep the food cold. With a fridge, I'm able to carry a smaller sized unit while being able to pack the same amount of food as before. My trips are usually 2 to 4 days, and having a smaller fridge footprint means I can have it stored in the car while we are also sleeping in the car. In the past, with an ice chest, I would have to lug it out and leave it outside when we sleep inside. And with a fridge, everything is now contained inside, and it makes it easier not having to move it in and out of the car when we move from spot to spot, or if we need to go inside to sleep. For this reason, I went with a bodega fridge, and the reason I purchased this fridge is due to the fact that its size and proportion is perfect for the spot where I want it to be placed. And because I mainly sleep inside the Forerunner, the unit that I purchased fits perfectly behind the passenger seat and at the same time big enough for the food I plan to pack. One of the beauty about the bodega fridge is that it has 2 independently controllable compartments. One side can be designated as a fridge while the other as a freezer, or I can set both as a freezer or both as a fridge, just depending on the type of food I plan to bring. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best fridge for the 5th gen Forerunner, and it may even be a good fit for previous generations as well, or cars where the compartment in the back seat is large enough to house this unit. One of the beauty about this unit is that it does have an eco mode that can reduce its power draw, but in its normal state it draws a maximum of 60 watts. Item number 2 here is a rack for the top of my car. The main reason why I purchased the DIY rails here is because I do have cases that I use for additional storage while I'm out in the wilderness. These rails offer a flat surface for the case to sit on and also to be mounted on, and because the rails are thick 1 inch by 2 inch aluminum, they offer a very rigid and solid setup. I like the OEM look of the side rails and wanted to keep it as OEM as possible. So I opted for a custom setup, which in my book is fairly priced and fairly affordable. Also, with the case that I'm using, I needed that specific 80/20 type rails so that I can mount my cases onto the rails safely and securely from the top or side anchor, which these custom rails offer. I went with the 80/20 1 inch by 2 inch rails, and the rails were cut to length by the supplier, and most of the hardware also available at the same supplier, and they were very well priced. And if you're looking to do something similar, again, feel free to check out the description below with details on this setup. I did have to get custom angled mounting brackets to mount the 80/20 rails to the OEM side rail bars, but that was the only additional piece that I had to order from a different supplier. But it worked really well, and it fits really well with the current setup while keeping the OEM look. Number 3 here are storage cases. Carrying additional equipment and gear is required when I disperse camp. Being able to carry these additional items on the top freezes up room inside the cargo, because the cargo is where I plan to sleep, and it's also better than putting these items out on the outside. I mainly use the cases to carry chairs, tables, privacy tents, portable toilets, heaters, extra tools, and shovels. My current setup can accommodate 2 cases with the rails that I have, but I'm currently only using 1. However, I do have plans to utilize a second in the near future. I opted to go with the Mishimoto born cases as they offer the size that I needed, and these were ones of the largest size that I could find that were long in length, and also the price of these cases were half the cost of their competitors. And these cases have been working well so far, but the only 2 complaints that I have is the mounting hardware that is available for them. And because of that, I had to custom make my own mounting setup as shown here, utilizing some nuts and long bolts to get them mounted. The second issue is with the latch itself. And it comes with 3 latches, but I just don't have the full trust in them as they are plastic and they don't feel as sturdy as I would like. They kind of feel a bit flimsy when locking them. However, it looks like they are screwed on in terms of the locking mechanism. So I'm hoping that in the future, the manufacturer will come out with something made of steel that can replace these current plastic ones. But for now, they work okay, and I utilize actual 2 locks on the ends just to ensure that the case stays closed while I'm out. Just like with most cases, these are made of high quality plastic and seems to be really well built and sturdy. They do offer drain holes just in case water gets in. And the seal on this seems to be working pretty well as I've taken it out in sand and snow conditions and haven't noticed anything leaking in. 4th on the list here is a winch, and the reason I purchased the winch is to be able to pull myself out if I get stuck somewhere, and also to help others out along the way if they get stuck. But mainly it's for the peace of mind to have a winch on board just in case I do get stuck somewhere. I do have a bit of everything from straps to D-rings, and these are all there just in case something should happen, so that I have a bit of recovery gear available to pull myself out. I went with the Open Road 4WD 13K winch setup mounted to an SDHQ hidden winch setup that is mounted to the front of my 4Runner. And the reason for this type of setup is because I like the stealth look, and I didn't want it to be too flashy because this is still my daily driver and I still take it to work every day. What I can tell so far though is that the hidden winch mount setup is extremely sturdy, and the Open Road 4-wheel drive winch comes with the wired attachment controller along with the wireless setup, which is a plus in my book. Last on my list here is the air compressor. The main purpose for the air compressor is to be able to air up after I've aired them down, and I'm mainly using the air compressor when I'm back on the main road and need to air up the tires. I did go with the ARB dual setup and mounted it to a Rago fabrication mount that is installed inside the engine bay. And I know that it's probably not the best place to put this unit because of all the heat buildup inside the engine bay, but I didn't want to have it mounted inside the car, in the back, or under the seat because it would just be too loud while it's running. As small and compact as this unit is, I've used it on our last trip to Levitt Lake and it worked out great. I was able to air up my car and my buddy's car without any issue, and it took under 20 minutes to air up all 8 tires. In actuality, it probably took it a bit less, but with me fiddling with the air gauge and moving the air hose around, it took a bit longer. But overall, under 20 minutes, 8 tires, I think that worked out great. Alright guys, these are the top 5 overlanding gears in my honest opinion that I think help takes me to that next level in building confidence going off-roading to discover new places. Let me know down in the comment section below if your top 5 differs from what I have listed. And if they are, let me know why you chose them, because I'm curious to know, and maybe I may include them in my list as things needed while I'm off-roading as well. But again, thank you for stopping by and watching this video to the very end. I do greatly appreciate that. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, as that also helps this channel out as well. Again, thank you for stopping by and watching to the very end. I will see you in the next video. Thanks.